So some of the simple things you can do when you have a little person come into your life and you want to teach them about books, but about your family and being social and emotional, particularly in these times when we can't meet and see family. So what you can do is you can take photos of, say, family members who are important in your child's life. So here, for example, as you can see, was my grandfather when my daughter was tiny. So to my daughter, she was his great-grandmother. So I would then write on there and say what we're going to do is going to go and see him, and it would help her, remind her of people who are important in our lives. And that could be something, if you're stuck in lockdown now. I did it with my mum. Look, Granny is Mummy's mummy, and Grandpa is Mummy's daddy. And then take the pictures, glue them together on 2 bits of card. You can see it's really simple. It's just card folded over, Pritt stick. And in this one, so I used, this instance, I used a laminator, and they're not too expensive actually to do, but you don't even need those really. You can make endless other little things like that. And then what I also did was I took everyday events and I photographed them. So here is an example of Sinead's first birthday, my oldest daughter. And literally I took a bit of coloured card and I printed the pictures off. I cut a little out. I wrote down her birthday and I put pictures in it. And I wrote down what was happening. Sinead was 1. Just very simple pictures. All the family came to Sinead's birthday party. They ate lots of food. And I wrote it just like a little children's book and used to read it back to her so she could see members of her family as she cut her cake. And I did the same thing. For example, this one here I made called James's Day. So what I did was when James was about 1.5, I literally cut a picture of him out on a bit of card, and I had an older child at the same time as well, so I sat her down and we talked about what he was doing, and then I had a baby, so I've got 3 of them, and that he has a drink of blackcurrant. So I wrote down discussing what you might do to make it like into a little zigzag book, and it was just sequenced of his day. What does he like to eat? Pictures of him just doing things, washing, getting ready to go. So what you can do is you can take everyday pictures, like here's my daughter again, and you can make what you might call a beautiful little book. And what you're doing is enabling her to understand her routine, what's important. You're scribing, and as you do it, you can verbalise and articulate to your child that you're writing the words for this little book. And you can write down and show pictures. It's a wonderful way of savouring those magical moments of the process and time. And what you see is, even like in that picture, that books become important to a child if you start really young. And then I just included everyday other things. My husband and I were both working at the time, and we just included those kind of things in there. We talked about the weather, we talked about what was happening. And it's as we talked about it that I wrote things down and went through the sequence of the day. And everybody laughs, and people still laugh about it. But it was a lovely, lovely way of showing a book, and it was really simple. So I just literally drew things that mattered to her. And when she was little, and she was around about having her first birthday, her shoes were important to her, and she kept talking about her shoes all the time. So I photographed her shoes, photographed the other thing. I know it's a historical book, this really now. The tape recorder, her teddy, and her when she's playing with the teddy. And all I did was, I told you, laminate those things. And things that she used to like to do. Look, she used to like to climb into the laundry basket. I'm sure you'll find those kind of pictures at home